Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Health or High Water. Sorry for the hiatus. Things are kind of crazy down here. Business is growing like crazy. We're almost finished with third book right now. Parkinson's support group is growing immensely, so I haven't really had a lot of time to jump on this podcast in a hot minute, but we've got quite a few episodes over the summer for you. Super glad to have you back. A huge shout out to Vietnam. You guys are showing up in like droves. Thank you guys so much for downloading and watching this little tiny podcast all the way from North Carolina. We couldn't thank you all enough. Even everybody in South America, my goodness, everyone all across the world is downloading and digesting this podcast, and we just couldn't be more grateful. Got a great episode here with Blaine from Kovo Fitness coming up here soon. But just want to give a huge shout out to you audience for making this podcast successful, and we've actually just bumped over 10,000 downloads because of you all. So thank you all so much for all the support and making this podcast as successful and long as it's been running for what, 142 episodes now. So thank you guys so much. Quick shout out to one of our new sponsors. Health or High Water has now partnered with Push-Ups for Parkinson's as our philanthropy group to partner up with. So 10% of everything we make through this podcast will be donated to Push-Ups for Parkinson's. And that's your big thing is 10 push-ups or $10 of donation. So we want to do our part. So make sure you guys are visiting my1010.org and donating what you guys can too to make sure that we're fighting Parkinson's and providing some really good tools, just like doctors and equipment for these patients suffering with Parkinson's. So we're trying to do our part here. But Blaine, thank you so much for coming on this podcast, man. How's it going today?
Doing well. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, I've been excited about this for a while. I haven't got to do a new podcast in almost 2 months. So as soon as you popped on, we met over, I think it was LinkedIn, and just had such a great conversation. Like, dude, you got to come on the podcast. You got something really cool, and I love to share the world with it. But yeah, it's good to have you on. So just real quick, how long have you been in fitness? Just been interested by it?
Fitness for me, it's been, oh man, long time now. I'd say first started getting into fitness around 8th grade. So I want to say like roughly 10 years ago now. Started getting into it, funny enough, right when I was getting into wrestling. It became important to, get stronger and get more fit so that I could perform better on the mat. So that's what first got me into it. Started with some calisthenics, and then, from there moved more into the gym, started training people outside of school, and it's always just kind of been something that I'm interested in, and that I would say maybe a hobby, a good hobby of mine. So a while now.
Yeah, well, so it's always like been a constant for you, right?
Yes. Sustainability, like you'll hear later from me, is a big thing. So I like the consistency over time aspect, and always was just trying to get in and go over all those years.
Well, that's really funny because the next book I'm about to put out is correlating the similarities between wealth and health, and how small compounding interest it kind of shows up in both of those places, and how much more effective it is than just dumping everything into one bucket. But I digress. We're about here in Kovo Fitness. So you obviously this has been I would say more than a hobby for you if you're this educated in it for a long time. Right. So can you tell the audience about what Kovo Fitness is? Tell them maybe a little, if they maybe didn't have it in front of them, what you guys do. Just what is Kovo Fitness?
Yeah, absolutely. I think before that, a little bit more backstory about me, just to help give you the information about that, to make it make more sense. As I got more into the gym, as I was saying, transitioned from calisthenics at home into weight training, took it more seriously, started really seeing results. I started to help train my friends. So this is in high school. I started to train with them. Before school, they'd come over to my house and we'd work out, and then, go to school together. And sometimes after school, after practice, it became just something I would do very informally, with my friends. We would socialize, and then also, get a nice workout in. And then took that with me into college, a little bit more seriously at that point. I would actually start designing some spreadsheets for people and give them workout programs that were personalized for them. Never charged for it, just something I liked doing, and I just thought it was fun and wanted everyone else to get, more into fitness as well. And at a certain point, I started to get tired of, making these things for people, or people talking to me saying how excited they were to get into training and wanted to start this new program, and had all these aspirations to then stop after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't really blame them. I don't blame them, but I got tired of seeing it. So that was really the birth of Kovo in my head when I didn't even know it at the time. That was what sort of started stoking the fire for me to create a solution to that problem, which later became my app. But it wasn't until my junior year of college, coming back from studying abroad in Austria, when ChatGPT first came out. It was like the first widely accessible chat interface for AI, and I was playing around with it. I've always been into tech, so hopped on it pretty early. It was a fairly early adopter and started playing around with it. And for me, I was like, well, what can I do with this kind of thing? How can I leverage some of this new cutting edge tech that seems really cool? And the first thing that I thought of, having just worked out, was what if I could, make a personal trainer out of this? Something that could just very high level, simple, generate me a workout daily that was different from the one that I did before, so it was fresh and new, but at the same time tailored to my goals and
Right.
my long-term vision. So it was the combination of those two things that sort of birthed this idea. I started working on it at that point. Once AI was accessible, I started mocking things up. My initial idea was just make a website, just make a generator, and then over the course of 3 years, the company changed a lot, or the product changed a lot. We went from website chatbot to an iMessage app to like a normal app, and just like what we were doing changed a lot, the type of person we were building it for. But the vision, or the higher purpose, was always there, which was try to make fitness more accessible to people, and create personalized programs to help them, and that's the
No, that was perfect. That's absolutely perfect, man. We every good movie has an origin story. You know, starts off with those kind of things because I really think, especially us Americans, like our biggest export people don't know is entertainment, right? And we are really good at telling stories. That's why we like underdogs. Like the story behind everything is super important for people's emotional drive into this, right? Like there might be someone else just like you that's in college and trying to figure this out for themselves. So that's important. Oh, that's me right there. Like I was training my friends and I was doing this. So you never know. Like that story is important, and I can't thank you enough for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you more about what it is now,
Let's hear it.
after all of those changes, and different approaches that we took. We ended up settling, and this was after many pivots, but we ended up taking the direction and settling on targeting gamers, or people who play video games. We decided that, as I'm sure you are familiar with, and a lot of the listeners, the fitness app space is crowded. There's tons of competition, tons of different solutions that are all really great. A lot of them are fantastic in what they're trying to do. But, being a gamer myself, and my co-founder also being a gamer, we decided that there wasn't anything out there that really spoke to us and was built for us in a native way for how we wanted it to be. So we took that opportunity to take the more generic stuff, the personalization, the social features, all of that kind of generic stuff, and then fuse that, which is what I had been working on. We had the social features, we had the AI, we had the personalized workouts and programs and stuff. We took that and then fused that with the gamer approach, which just means gamifying it, which is a term that's getting more and more popular, essentially taking the addictive aspects of video games and applying them to a different industry, in our case fitness, to try to make it more fun, more engaging, more rewarding. Many apps do it, but to varying degrees.
Right.
Like it depends on how deep you go into it. And we wanted to go pretty deep. We didn't want to make a video game, but we wanted to make something that, was fun and felt native to gamers. So that was the big pivot that we made about 2 years ago. And then, since then, did about everything that you can imagine doing for a company. We did a funding round. We worked with, a marketing agency, did some hires for tech and developers, and then ended up, you know, taking the tech internally and started learning to code ourselves and coding with AI and stuff. And then eventually, after that, after learning and pivoting and failing a lot, we ended up with the product we have now, which we're really happy with and feels pretty good. And at a high level, because I haven't even addressed it yet, it's a fitness app, and we have personalization, social features, and gamification, or video game features, I guess you could say. And the whole idea is taking it back to where I started, which is I want to be able to make fitness programs for people, to get them into whatever goal they'd like to achieve, in the gym or out of the gym, just get them more into fitness, and then provide a platform that allows them to stick with it, and not give up after 2 weeks. So that's the whole idea.
Well, I love it because to a lot of us, it's very familiar, right? Like video games are familiar, like home. There's nostalgic aspects to it. It doesn't matter how old you are. Before my mom's stroke, she was playing games. I mean, like video games are intertwined into this modern digital age of who we are. Like we love our games, and I think that's such an amazing target audience to hit as well because there is a high need for health information. Very similar to the seniors that I work with down here. It's a high need for education, high need for help, and you're like weaponizing against them, which is awesome. It's like super sick. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like this cat's got it. Like he understands and like using it for good. But it's also like you also bring up a really good point, like personal training and what have you. There's some people that just like don't enjoy it, right? Like I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And you're finding I think you're going to find some really great success with those kind of people. Like I don't really like it, and gamifying it as you're talking about and making it entertaining and like challenging, because I'll tell you what, that's the one thing. It's hard to quantify beyond reps and sets and weight what we're doing at the gym. You know what I mean? Like if you're able to compete in a different way, maybe other people enjoy it more, because I'm a freak. Like I live in the gym. That's like my place, but I do love my video games too. So you putting these two together might be dangerous for me, man.
I hope so. And I think what you were just saying definitely was a big point of discussion for us while we were developing it. And it was it being difficult to quantify what you do in the gym outside of the weight, reps, and sets. How do you create a cohesive video game environment when those are really like the only things you can track? How do you create something that feels authentic?
Yeah.
That's not just a leaderboard of some arbitrary numbers and things like that don't feel tied to reality. It was definitely a big challenge for us while we were developing this, because the video gamer, someone who plays games is going to be the first to know that this leaderboard feels fake. It doesn't feel grounded in reality. It's not rewarding to move up on the leaderboard, and it doesn't feel good to use. So, funny enough, it was actually a big challenge for us developing it, because you can't just like throw a point system onto something random and then have it feel good.
Well,
So
well, and you brought up too, like you guys kind of like failing. I see failure as the most important entrepreneurial tool that we have, because if you're a good entrepreneur, those failures are not failures; they're lessons. Okay, I did this right this time. I did this wrong. Next time I do it, I'll do it this, and this way. And eventually, if you keep doing that, just by the laws of averages, you'll figure it out,
yeah,
right? I mean, I'll tell the audience real quick too. This is one of the biggest failures. I opened up a supplement and a shake shop up in Northern Virginia. I forgot to account for parking. There was no parking in the front of this building that I spent $70,000 on renovating, buying products, and my business fell apart, right? But it ate me up for years. But I was like, hey, like if I did it again, I got to think about location and this and that. Like I just turned it to a very expensive lesson.
yeah.
That's all you can do. And I couldn't be more proud of you, like going on there and failing, but learning and hey, listen, this didn't work, but let's try it this way. And you keep at it, and that's how you're successful. And that's why it's gonna. That's why I know it's gonna feel right for gamers, is because you're authentic and you're trying to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, failure is absolutely. It's only a failure if you stop. You know, like as long as you're alive, you know it's a lesson. So, I absolutely have tried to take it in a positive light. For me, we spent way too much money on developers or and marketing. You know, it's just like things you don't know until you experience it. You know, and eventually we ran out of money, so we were like, okay, well we can stop or just learn to code and start using AI to help us. And then that was like the best decision we ever made, you know. So absolutely, I agree.
And for other entrepreneurs out there, if you're not using ChatGPT, for the love of all that's holy, go try it out because I could not live without it
Yeah.
at all. For it was like pre ChatGPT, you'd notice how bad my grammar is, and now you can't.
Yeah, right.
It's like that. It's like he has good grammar. It's like yeah, that's what I want you to think. But anyway, so I want to get back to this authenticity. You're talking about the leaderboards, talking about this process you made. So what kind of games are we talking? Like Pac-Man situation? Are we talking about like body identifying, like triceps trying to keep a ball going? What kind of games and stuff are we talking here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we had a few big influences when we were developing the app, and ultimately at a high level, or just the whole time, the theme was that we were creating something that we wanted to use. So we were creating an app. You know, I was creating an app for myself, something that I felt I would enjoy using in the gym, and because of that, you know, I was able to guide a lot of the decisions based off of what we thought felt good when we would actually use it, right? So I wasn't building it for some mysterious person, you know. I was able to judge what felt good and what didn't, and a lot of times we wouldn't know until we would actually use it. So we would make a build and test it on our phones for a couple weeks, and then see that it doesn't really feel that good, you know, and then have to try something else. But one of the big influences for us was Clash Royale. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
I played
massive
it.
game. Yeah, massive mobile game. Supercell really knows what they're doing. Clash of Clans, Clash Royale guided a lot of our decision making because those are two games that were influential for my team. And I don't really know why we picked them, but we did. I think they do a lot of stuff really great, and they had a lot of features that were parallel to what we wanted to build. So that's the little bit of background there, but I think a good way to explain what we did with the gamification and making it video game esque is that we didn't want to make a video game, which is something that I mentioned, you know, a little bit earlier. We didn't want, because there's two approaches you can really take when you're doing something that like what we are. You can make a video game that has fitness aspects to it, or you can make a fitness tracker that has video game aspects to it. There are great video games out there that are fitness, you know, related or adjacent, where you're playing an RPG or some type of video game, and then in order to move your character, you have to do push-ups. You know, like that's very much
Yeah,
video game, but then there's like fitness tied to it. That's not what we decided to go with. We decided to go with like your very standard fitness tracker and then build gamified features on top of that. You know, so things like earning experience points when you log a set, you know, and then like
yeah.
things like that, and then leveling up your profile, which unlocks rewards, and you know, if you earn XP, that moves you up the weekly league leaderboard. You have your personalized journey that you travel on. Like we make you a personalized workout, and each workout is a node or a mission on that, you know, on that journey map. And then as you go through the map, there are chests that you can unlock and get cosmetics, you know, things like that. You can join what we call gyms that are really just clans, you know, with your friends, or find people online. You can chat, you can do challenges together, compete, all that sort of stuff. So adding the gamey features into, you know, a fitness logger, I would say.
This is so freaking awesome.
I'm glad you think so.
And like you said, I don't know why we picked this game. Well, you picked a great skeleton to work with, man. They a very successful company that still has millions of users. You know what I mean? Why remake the wheel when you don't have to, you know? So I absolutely love that. And that's what I love games too. All right. And for those that don't, that, maybe not know, fan wise on here, I'm a nerd. I love games. I play them all the freaking time. And the last game I was playing was World of Tanks. And all I wanted to do was unlock a Tiger 1 tank. That's all I wanted to do in the game. And I stopped after that. I just love unlocking the things. And I think there's something to that. Like Borderlands was a huge game for me, and Fable back in the day about like finding treasure and upgrading and doing these kind of things and making it your own experience. So I think that was incredibly smart to come from that perspective on that. Real fast, everyone. Quick word from our sponsors, Gene Planet. Genetics are going to be the future of health and wellness with how we program, understanding our bodies individualistically. So if you want to take a step ahead and stop guessing about what workouts to do, what supplements to take, what nutrition you guys need to do, injury risk and prevention, what have you, get your genetics done now through Gene Planet. We're offering I think a 20% discount using code APT at checkout at geneplanet.com. Geneplanet.com. That's code APT for 30%, 20 or 30% off. You guys don't quote me on that. I'm having a brain fart right now. But it's going to show you the right workouts you guys need to do, the right nutrition, supplementation, injury risk, cancer risk, cardiovascular risk, all based off of some spit. So go check that out. Use code APT to go save some money and get started on that individualistic quantitative fitness journey that we've been talking about so much on this show. So Blaine, so again, like I think this is a smart move, man. You're definitely making the right choices in the structure of the business, of what people already like. I already feel like it's authentic just talking to you. Being a gamer myself, I was like, I'm gonna feel it from this guy as soon as we talk about it. But you're coming away with all these different approaches, especially with the XP upgrading, these kind of immersive things that gamers love. Where would you love to see? Just real quick, where would you love to see this go? Like an Xbox game, like in gyms, or what's the dream here?
Yeah, I think well, it's hard to say the scale because I could always just say like, I'd like more and more people to enjoy it, but I think it would be awesome for us, and something we've wanted to do for a long time is partner with very video game centric, organizations and companies. It'd be a great way for them to expand into fitness. So rather than us like targeting super fitness oriented things like Nike or Adidas or whatever, and then saying here's another approach to fitness that you can take, the thing that we would just absolutely love to be able to bring it to gamers, things like Twitch or Xbox, PlayStation, and then just have it something that they can do and get into fitness. I know like gamers are already active. I know they're surprisingly more active than non-gamers, and I'm saying that being one, but that's where we would love to take it. And I think just as many people as I could help with it would make me happier. The more the better there, because it is truly like doing it to help people stop quitting. It's like what I really want to do, and just enjoy it. Like get into fitness, enjoy it. My dad, for example, he's 73 now, and he's one of my best customers. He loves the app. He's been getting into it over the past year and a half, testing it with me, and never really able to stick to a fitness program in his life, but just like loves Kovo, can't go to the gym without it, always talking about it, getting into the gamified stuff. That kind of thing makes me really happy.
Especially when you see someone loving what you're doing, it just like it makes it feel, if you feel fulfilled, right? Like, and that's what a lot of people never feel after a day of work is like, I created something, I built something, and someone enjoys it. There's something magic about that. Man, I had a really good question I was going to ask about that. Well, yes. Just hypothetically, do you have like a dream celebrity you'd love to partner with?
Oh, not one off the top of my head. I mean, there's a few. Like any big video game streamer would be awesome, or like something like that. That would be awesome. I don't know. It depends, because it depends who I'm watching. These days. But I think any of them would be so great.
I'd love to see you work with Shaq.
Okay, that wasn't on my head, but okay.
I,
That could be cool.
see, he's like a big gamer, and I could just see him like, Kovo's the best. Like,
Yeah,
just,
yeah, that would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome.
well, he's got a good personality too. But yeah, that was just on my top of the head. I was like, you know what? Like, I was thinking like Shaq would be awesome to work with Kovo. Man, he's got a personality for it. He games and like just what a powerhouse y'all would be. No, I love that the future. I love what you're doing with this. And I love it that you're keeping authentic to gamers, right? Like you didn't like choose this middle ground, which a lot of companies do when they're making like a fitness video game or a game that's fitness orientated, what have you. So I think that's really awesome. And I love that you're trying to keep it on platforms like Twitch. You're going on to Xbox. I think that's where you're going to find the most success personally. Is getting into those gamers who like those XP upgrades and likes those leveling up and what have you, and maybe just like a little embarrassed to start out at a gym. This perfect place for them is right in their comfort zone. So I absolutely love that. So what about yourself? So you've been a fitness enthusiast. I've been a fitness enthusiast for a very long time. What's your typical gym routine, my man?
Oh, I. It's tough because I make it up when I go, but I
Yeah.
think I think which is probably why this app's so good for me too. It helps me stay more structured in my routine. But usually, I like to go 5 times a week. I think on average, I like to go 5 times a week. And I train for hypertrophy, so more bodybuilding stuff. I train to look good and feel good, as vain as that is, but that's it's not for any specific athletic goal personally, you know. So I just kind of train hypertrophy, 8 to 12 reps, usually progressive overload. As I've said before, sustainability is super massive for me, so I'm never really pushing the boundary too hard. Could say, one might say I trained a mild discomfort, and stuff. So no injuries, can stick with it over time, and just making sure that I'm getting in, and as I said, being sustainable, not going too hard and then burning out or anything like that. So I switch splits all the time though, like bro split, push pull legs, try different ones. I'm interested in trying Arnold sometime soon. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Talk about Blueprint.
What's that?
The Arnold workout Blueprint.
Well, no, I just know it as like the Arnold split. I don't actually know Blueprint.
Well, if you try Blueprint, that was his '70s like Mr. Olympia
Yeah.
jacked. I mean, I couldn't do it myself. Like it's like 2 hours long,
Okay.
just like insane. Like I tried as real as I could, and every time I tried it, I just like my body's not made for that. Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's intense. I mean, I think the sweet spot for me is like 45 minutes to an hour, personally. You know, warm up, hit it for 45 minutes, and then at that point, I'm kind of ready to get going with something else. Yeah. Yeah.
well, like I think a lot of us don't have time, and this is a great information for the audience here too. Is a lot of us don't have 3 hours to work out a day. We have a life that we have to work. We have family to take care of, household to take care of, and we don't have that time. We're not bodybuilders. That's just not sustainable. So using something like Kovo to make sure that you're getting in the gym, you're doing it right, you're not forgetting anything, and you're like contribute to a greater good for yourself and other people that are using the app. I couldn't be more proud of you, man. Everything about Kobo will be in the description below. Blaine's social link for LinkedIn and what have you, as well as his website link for Kovo in the description below. Please go check it out. Go support him and this young entrepreneur making it happen for the people, by the people, authenticity to the max here. So make sure you guys are checking him out. And thank you guys for watching Health or High Water. We're coming back with the hard swing. We've got a voice coach coming in week after next to talk about what she's doing in senior living communities. So make sure you guys are watching that. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing too. I mean, this is huge. This thing's blowing up. And don't forget to go buy your Beer Ski beef sticks, a great healthy snack. Use code HOHW for 10 to 15% off. Again, I don't remember the numbers here, guys. I have to produce this and host this and do the ads. So I'm going to have to fire someone. But Blaine, thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll have to have you come back on for season 5 and see how things go.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome to be here. Would love to come back.
You're welcome. So make sure you guys are checking out my boy here, Kovo Fitness. And make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. We need your guys' help to grow this as big as we can. Thank you guys. See you later. Peace.